What is up, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's Rage, and today I'm going to be talking about the 8th book in the Gears of War book series, Ephyra Rising. I did not realize it was going to be the 8th book in the series when I first read it, before Googling to see where, about the other 2 books that I still have to read. I thought it made a lot more sense that they would release this book to get people interested in Gears of War 4, but clearly that's not the case. For some reason, they only wrote this after Gears 4 and 5 were already out, as far as I'm aware. But I liked it more than the Slab. It's, to me, a more interesting read. And I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Which, if you will remember, is 2 more than the Slab, which I gave a 6 out of 10. I really thought that this was far more of an interesting book. It takes place during a very critical period. Even if you don't like Gears 4 and 5, which I don't, I still think seeing more of the world after Gears 3 is interesting. So yeah, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Now, it's set between 2 different stories, with the main story, well, they're both really integral, so there's no real main story with quotes, main story, but one of them focuses on Anya and has to deal more with politics, with like getting the area set up so they can actually have a population, trying to deal with all the other population centers that are more well known out there, trying to convince the Stranded to join, figuring out who's gonna rule it and how they're gonna set that up. Because even though it does end up becoming the cog again, at the beginning at least, it was set up to be at least a little bit different. It's not supposed to be so militarily focused as the cog used to be, before the Locust War and even during. And then the second story is focused on Marcus. It's kind of split between like him finding peace with himself and also with doing he ends up having to chase down rumors about locusts still being alive and existing, and he also ends up helping out Stranded and learning more about how to be self-sufficient and provide, for like Anya, cook and clean and keep the estate. So it's set, like I said, after Gears 3, before Gears 4. It was super interesting in my opinion. It was super well written. The only complaint I think I have in this book is with how Marcus acts in regards to like Cole and stuff. Like, for some reason he uses the word brother a lot, and I know that they are brothers, but it's always been more of a unspoken bond kind of thing. So I didn't really like how often they make him use the word brother out loud in the book. It's just a small thing in my opinion. But I thought it was really cool. If you've played 4 and 5, a lot of the things that you see in there are kind of explained in here. Like Bard's new company, Bard Industries, is created basically during this book. There's a lot of interrelations between his company and the actual government that take shape in here. We get to see the creation of the, I think they're called BDs, right? I think that's what the robots are called. DBs. They're called DBs. They also are first introduced in this book. There's a lot of... I want to leave a lot out because I think the more I talk about what actually happens, the less interesting it'll be. More so than even any of the other books that I've talked about so far. But like, you learn more about how Anya ends up becoming the first chairwoman. She becomes the first minister. First minister of I New Ephyra, I think is what they call the city they create, or the place. Yeah, the first minister. Anya becomes the first of the first ministers. uh so seeing her deal with the politics of making sure that the wrong people don't actually become the first minister, preventing them from gaining more power, fracturing the newly formed government, taking control of other settlements, stuff like that. Um, Really important stuff. And then, like I said, Marcus has to chase down rumors, so he goes throughout Sarah, the mainland mass at least, and we see a little bit more of the stranded, how their communities are, certain of the big population centers that exist and existed during the Locust War and during the Lambency problem. So it was overall, like I said, an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. It was very intriguing. I've always been a fan of politics, like reading about it and seeing it, because it's such an interconnected web, seeing power plays and stuff like that. And then, seeing Marcus come to terms with himself and the world now that he doesn't have to fight every day. He has to get used to being a civilian, basically. So he's no longer in multiple high octane battles and situations every single day of his life. So he needs to figure out how to calm down and live like a normal person, and come to terms with like Dom's death, stuff like that. And his new love with Anya. It's not really new. They've been into each other since before the Locust War even happened, but actually like trying to make a relationship work between them, stuff like that. So Marcus really has a very character focused arc in this book, whereas Anya's is more externally focused with politics and the new government they are planning on forming. So I really liked it. I was not a huge fan of Gears 4 and 5, but I think that this book really helped set up 4 and 5, the new series. And I really recommend it, even if you don't like the two newest games. I really do. I think it leaves off with enough that you can form your own opinions and conclusions on how things will happen. If you don't want to acknowledge 4 and 5, like I'm sure a lot of people. Um, so it'll probably be a while before the next video comes out, because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan of 4 and 5, and it's kind of created a mental block that's making me not want to read the books, Ascendance and whatever the other one is called, that are 4 and 5. So it'll probably be a while until I make a new video on Gears of War. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up, but I might talk about a new series or something like that, because I do have a backlog of series that I have read and would like to talk about. If you've made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if I could get a like and a subscribe from you guys. You can also hit the bell notification if you want to get notified when I go live or upload a video. Also, in the description, there's a link to my Discord. You feel free to join. You can always talk about books that you want me to read, things you'd like me to do, any tips you have for me. If you want to talk more about the books and stuff that I've already talked about, I'm also willing to do that. I think that would be really fun to get different opinions. Like if you like these books more than me or don't like them as much or whatever the difference in opinion might be. And I really hope you enjoyed the video and that you have a good day. Thank you for watching and see you next time.